Since the dawn of recorded history, people have been fixated on the concept of last words, and it makes sense when you consider it. Throughout our lives, we speak millions of words, so it seems logical that the final words we say would be remembered and meaningful to others. In addition, some people's final remarks can include a wealth of insight and even grim comedy. Here is a collection of 20 renowned people's final remarks. Welcome to The Amazing Facts. Stay tuned. 15 famous final words of well-known persons. Number 1. Queen Marie Antoinette. The last Queen of France was put to death by guillotine in 1792 during the French Revolution. She trod on her executioner's foot as she was led to the guillotine and said, "Pardon me, sir, I did not do it on purpose." Number 2. Leonardo da Vinci. It appears that da Vinci needed more than just credit for painting the Mona Lisa. His final remarks were, "I have offended God and mankind because my work did not reach the quality it should have. He wasn't good enough, then I don't think anyone is." Number 3. Dominique Bauhaus. The renowned French grammarian Dominique Bauhaus' last remarks undoubtedly immortalized his abilities. Those were, "I am about to, or I am going to, die. Either expression is correct." A great wit, he never forgot to show off his command of language, taking advantage of the chance to brag even as he lay dying in 1902. Number 4. Nostradamus. Regardless of your opinion of Nostradamus' prophetic abilities, his final remarks demonstrate that he was able to foresee his own demise. After saying these things to his secretary, the seer from the 16th century was discovered dead the next morning. "Tomorrow at sunrise I shall no longer be here." His visions contain names, dates, places and events, as well as symbolism and metaphor. This leaves them open to interpretation, meaning they are still the subject of heated debate today. On the day of his death, Nostradamus was working on a quatrain about the end of the world. Number 5. Author Vladimir Nabokov. In addition to authoring novels like Lolita and Pale Fire, Nabokov's lifelong interest was etymology. His final remarks: "A certain butterfly is already on the wing." There is a certain lyrical elegance to this sentence, even if it is essentially meaningless. At least Nabokov passed away reflecting about a passion of his. Number 6. Beethoven. These are Ludwig van Beethoven's, the German composer, much contested final remarks. "Friends applaud, the comedy is over." When Beethoven was alive, this line was usually said to conclude an evening of Dell'arte, an Italian comic play. Following a protracted illness, the composer passed away on March 26, 1827, in the midst of a rainstorm. Commemorative hunters were already cutting off strands of his renowned wild hair 2 days after his passing. Beethoven suffered lead poisoning, as evidenced by a lone strand of that hair that finally made its way to a US laboratory. Number 7. James French. How's this for your headline? French fries. The last words of James Donald French, a convicted murderer and the last criminal ever to be executed under the death penalty in Oklahoma. He was given an electric death sentence for the murder of a cellmate. He yelled these remarks to the journalists present at the execution when he was being executed in the death chamber. Number 8. Salvador Allende. Salvador Allende, the president of Chile, passed away during Augusto Pinochet's military takeover in 1973. live radio broadcasting of Allende's farewell address allowed listeners to plainly hear gunfire in the background. It was declared shortly after that he had gone to war with an AK-47 rifle. Stated differently, he had killed himself, even if others who stood by him believed he had been assassinated. He said that the rifle he used was a gift from Fidel Castro, his buddy. These are my last words, and I am certain that my sacrifice will not be in vain. I am certain that, at the very least, it will be a moral lesson that will punish felony, cowardice and treason. Number 9. Poet, Emily Dickinson. The celebrated poet's last words were as beautiful as could be expected. I must go in, for the fog is rising. The fog of life giving way to the clarity of death? Or the fog of death rising to cloud life? I'll leave this one for the literary critics to figure out. Number 10. Humphrey Bogart. These are the witty last words of Hollywood legend Humphrey Bogart. I should have never switched from scotch to martinis. The first member of the notorious Rat Pack, he was diagnosed with esophageal cancer in 1954. He was also a frequent smoker and drinker. However, he didn't take any action until it was too late. This timeless quote was said by Bogart to his wife Lauren Bacall and their kids as he lay dying in January 1957. He was just 57 when he passed away. Number 11. Physicist, Richard Feynman. Feynman was not too impressed as he lay dying. His final remarks were, "This dying is boring." Something as banal as death must seem uninteresting to one of the pioneers of the study of quantum mechanics. Number 12. John Barrymore. The final words of American actor John Barrymore, who crossed the gap between the silent and sound eras with roles on theatre, cinema, and radio. Those are, "Die. I should say not, dear fellow." No Barrymore would allow such a conventional thing to happen to him. Drew Barrymore's paternal grandpa, he was descended from a theatrical dynasty. Barrymore was a habitual drinker and smoker who passed away the same day in 1942 after collapsing during an appearance on Rudy Vallee's radio show. Film director Raoul Walsh took Barrymore's remains before burial, according to Errol Flynn's memoirs. Many others contest this story, but he left it propped up on a chair for a drunk Flynn to find when he got home from the Cock and Bull bar. Number 13. Playwright, Eugene O'Neill. At the age of 65, the Pulitzer Prize-winning writer passed away in a Boston hotel room. He ended his speech with an exclaim. "I knew it. I knew it. Born in a hotel room and, goddammit, dying in a hotel room." At least he had the satisfaction of knowing he was right before he died. Number 14. Winston Churchill. Winston Churchill, the politician and master orator, said these final comments before going into a coma. 9 days later, he passed away. "I'm bored with it all." Considered one of the greatest wartime leaders of the 20th century, Churchill's speeches are often credited with mobilizing the embattled British to never give up, and to eventually win the Second World War. But, aged 90, after a lifetime of tremendous achievement and unstinting service to his country, he finally surrendered. Number 15. Thomas Edison. In the final moments before passing away, Edison is claimed to have opened his eyes and spoken the words, "It is very beautiful out there." While some have theorized that he was discussing the afterlife, Others maintain that he was only referring to what was seen outside his window. We probably won't find out for sure. That's all for this video. Thank you for watching. Subscribe our channel for latest notifications.